Brainstorming and sharing ideas is the funnest part of the creative process. We decided to skip the boring part of actually making stuff and just do the fun part. I'm your host, Tom Walma.
My name's Kevin.
I'm Justin Sakarica.
I'm Stu McAllister.
And this is Creativity Wasted.
Okay, I don't know if you guys have noticed lately, but like in the past 4 or 5 years, serial killers have become real popular. I think we can all agree on that, right? There's been documentaries, a bunch of books written. Like everybody seems to love serial killers now. Now, something else that everybody loves are 80s and 90s sitcoms. So I figured, what the hell? Let's combine them and make a serial killer TGIF. Okay. Now, the first show on your lineup is going to be Manson Family Matters. Okay. And it's going to be the quirky, where you've got the Manson family and, they're just going through their day-to-day life. Like, you could have Charles Manson be like the Urkel. He could kill somebody and be like, did I do that? And then you've got, you could have perfect stranglers, like the Boston Strangler, and, who else goes around strangling people. But obviously, they have to be kind of yin and yang. They're opposites, so it causes, some weird sitcom hilarity. Then you could have H.H. Holmes Improvement. I don't know if a lot of people know who H.H. Holmes was. He was a guy back in the early 1900s. He actually had like a murder castle where he would bring people in with these contraptions. So, it'd be, H.H. Holmes Improvement. He'd have a family. He'd still do this. It'd be with killing people. And, God, I had one more. Oh, of course. And then Sanford and Son of Sam, which would be another great one. It would focus on the son of Sam, him and his dad, doing wacky things at the junkyard. But again, he's a killer. People love sitcoms. It writes itself. I mean, I think everybody would really enjoy it. Still have the stupid laugh tracks, and like when things sad happen, everybody would be like, "Aw," but there'd be plenty of killing.
So somebody gets stabbed in the eye, and then there's either a laugh track or there's an awe.
Yeah, have like the real stupid one-liners in there, like I didn't see it. Like everybody would clap. It's like when somebody walks in the room, they get like all the cheers and thing. So, I think it'd be great. I mean, and if you guys could offer any other like lineups for that series, I think it'd be fantastic.
You could probably do Married with Children with Ted Bundy.
So it would be like Buried with Children, and obviously Ted Bundy has to go and bury the people he kills, and he happens to have kids, and he hates his wife, he kills her.
Many people really, really enjoy seeing prequels to famous cultural artifacts. The Matrix. We'd love to see a prequel of that. Instead, we got a sequel. Prequels of Spider-Man, because we need to see Ben before he gets killed. But as far as this like 80s theme goes, I think we get a prequel to Dexter. Have a little bit of a like prestige drama, mixed in with all the sitcom comedies, but it's set in the 80s. So it's tiny Dexter just killing neighborhood pets because as the science does show, violence against animals when you're younger, like predates like murdering other living beings. So it's going into the mindset of like, middle school aged acne covered Dexter before he's like, I'm just going to kill everybody. So a prequel series of Dexter, sort of like young Sheldon, but better.
In the spirit of improv, there's always a yes and. I'm gonna murder that. I'm gonna do the exact opposite of that. I'm gonna say no murdering of pets, because people like seeing serial killers, but they don't want to see murderers of pets.
It could happen off screen.
What if it's a chimpanzee that ripped a lady's face off?
Oh, pets murdering
Does that
people.
happen?
That's even
That
better.
shit-
Oh,
Sure.
an inversion. Oh, okay. No, the inversion. Okay, no,
Yeah.
I'm on board with that. If it's like an inversion of like
Yeah.
pets colluding together to murder their owners for not feeding them enough.
And they could have like a Jim Henson.
Like
Go ahead.
Muppets? Man, that connection is bad.
Yeah, because you know how like in the 80s or 90s, like Muppets shows and like the pets killing people could be Jim Henson style Muppets. Like they had that show Dinosaurs that was on for a while.
Muppet Cold Case.
There you go.
It's the exact same format as like every cold case true crime kind of TV show, but instead of some weird person hosting it, it's Kermit the Frog this week, or maybe it's Miss Piggy, maybe it's Rocco or Rizzo. Sorry, I just saw a freaking tweet on Twitter about Rocco from Sesame Street. Could be Rocco too. Actually, give him some use.
There you go. CSI Sesame Street.
I have an idea not related to that at all, unfortunately. What if you had, like, let's say Neil Patrick Harris as an adult. There's a show where people go back into like their old sitcom and they through CGI they murder their past selves. Like Neil Patrick Harris goes back and murders Doogie Howser. Or
Okay.
whoever's still alive on Saved by the Bell goes back and murders their teen self on Saved by the Bell. So I guess that would be like do they call that an anthology?
Yeah, like little vignettes every week.
Yeah.
And the theme is really cohesive. It's Kylo Ren saying, "Kill your past." So not only do we have murders, we have crime. We also have the best property, Star Wars, with Kylo Ren's voice saying, "Let the past die" before every episode.
We may have lost Justin. He just texted something.
You should use his picture for me. I think that would work.
His picture.
The frozen picture. Exactly. He's frozen.
His picture is like apropos for the topic because it was like super dark and like you could barely see his face. They did that Marvel show like based on like the old timey sitcoms. What was her name?
And there was WandaVision.
WandaVision.
And it was like every like decade and it was like part of her trauma. It's like, she grew up watching these shows to like learn, English, or her mom used it to learn English. She just watched it with her mom or her parents. And then her parents died tragically. Spoilers for those who haven't somehow seen that show.
If you haven't seen it, you're not going to see it.
Oh, crap.
You let him back in?
Well, I'm not sure he's going to be able to join back in.
Oh.
House hunters. I'm not familiar with the housing market in the 80s. I imagine it was not as terrible as it is now. But it's a bunch of people going around murdering people who are looking for the house that they want.
Gotcha.
Thereby eliminating competition. So,
Cutthroat.
Exactly.
Literally cutthroat.
I know he's not a serial killer, but the Unabomber, maybe have a biopic on him.
He killed more than one person, didn't he?
Yeah, his Wikipedia says he killed 3 people and injured 23 others.
Yeah, I guess that's like right on the line. Is 3 considered serial killer?
But we can do a learning math with Ted, and it's a camera set up in his jail cell, and he can teach us math. I mean, he has his PhD from University of Michigan.
He's a smart man.
Smart man, So learning math with Ted, the Unabomber.
Do you think he's all upset about the Georgia game?
He might be.
I bet he
Very
made
much
tons of money in Bitcoin. He's probably like a secret Bitcoin, like multi-millionaire if they let him do that.
How about instead of the love boat, it could be love murder boat. Everybody can come on and massacre each other, hijinks.
So it wouldn't be the hate boat.
The icebreaker is, hey, I love murder, don't you?
Who doesn't? I love it.
Bunch of squares don't like murder.
Justin's last topic was about murder too, which makes me wonder, like, I just moved into his neighborhood.
I was gonna say, how well do you know this man?
Maybe I should question that
I'd be
decision.
concerned also for legal reasons. I am not condoning anybody murder anybody else.
Good cover. That's a good cover.
That's legally binding, right?
I believe so. If you're on a restream, it's legally binding.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's a funny idea to it's always funny to subvert expectations, to have like the tone be absolutely wrong, like a chippy upbeat tone, and it's about murder. Stuff like that can be funny.
The Bachelor, but it's matching a murderer with their victim.
Or he just murders them all until there's only one left.
Yeah, there you go. That's an
I mean,
easy way to eliminate the contestants.
I mean, the dating game.
Yeah. It's a dating game show, but instead of just getting voted off, you get murdered.
I think there were a couple murderers that were on the dating game. Like I saw it on like trivia things, like somebody who was on one of those shows ended up murdering somebody a couple times, I think.
It's bound to happen, man. Murderers love their fame, so they got to get on some dumb reality shows.
And they always have to mention like, oh, the murderer won. Like there's some guy out there who lost in the dating game to a murderer, and they just have to rub that in.
How do you feel about that? I feel pretty shitty. Lost to a murderer. They could have picked me. They picked the murderer.
Any shows or podcasts or things you want to plug?
For those in the Metro Detroit area, there is a wonderful farm team show called Ding Dong Dead. And that's going to be, it's a murder mystery show, 45 minutes. And it's at the end of January, Friday, January 28th, and Saturday the 29th, and February 4th and February 5th. So two weekends in a row. It's a really fun murder mystery I'm working on as an assistant director, and it should be a lot of fun. You have to be fully vaxxed, and you have to have a mask to get in Planet Ant.
Kevin, who did the murder?
That is a spoil. You know, that's a spoiler, and I'm not
Come on.
It's somebody in the show. I will say.
Fair enough.
Anything to plug, Stu?
Just the Elemental podcast. Come troll me. I'll agree with everything you say.
I have my Gaming McFitness thing, and I'm looking up Justin's credits. He runs some shows, Bearded Lamb Brewing Company on January 28th, Rusted Crow Distillery, February 5th.
This has been a production of Planet Ant Podcast, powered by Pinecast.